Hello, Silicon Valley. Hello, Silicon Valley. Welcome to Idea to IPO. My name is Rob. I organize Idea to IPO. We've been doing events in Silicon Valley for many, many years. We launched officially on February 1st, 2010. At that time, we had no members and no events on our calendar. At the stage, we have over 800,000 members among all our meetup groups all around the world. We've organized, promoted, and produced over 4,500 events. By any standard, by any measure, we're the most active, most prolific startup event organization in the history of Silicon Valley, bar none. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. We hold venture capital panels, legal workshops, networking events, and more. We hold an event every day of the week. Check out our schedule at ideatoipo.com. Our mission is to promote entrepreneurship, support entrepreneurs, build community, and provide value in the Silicon Valley startup ecosystem. To that end, we provide content that is practical, actionable, and relevant. Stuff you can actually use to succeed as entrepreneurs. We believe in building community because Silicon Valley is a global aspirational ecosystem. It attracts people from all over the world who come here to do great things. Who here is not originally from Silicon Valley or the greater San Francisco Bay Area? Who here was born and raised in Silicon Valley or the greater San Francisco Bay Area? 5 natives, welcome. So whether you're born and raised here or just arrived last night, it's important for us to provide multiple channels for you to meet people, build relationships, and grow your network. With regard to value, it's important that we provide value at each and every one of our events. Not just value for your money, which is important though, because we know many entrepreneurs are struggling financially. So we make sure our events are free or affordable, and if you cannot afford to cover charge for whatever reason, come talk to me and we can work something out. And at most of our speaker events, we make sure that we provide a delicious buffet. Is that a delicious buffet? Yeah. Is that a delicious buffet? Yeah. I want to thank Perkins Coie for sponsoring that delicious buffet. So let's hear it for Perkins Coie.
Thank you.
More importantly, at each and every one of our events, we want to make sure that we provide value for your time, which is your most valuable resource. Anyone here getting any younger? Besides this young lady and our panel? So when you invest your valuable time to come to our events, we want to make sure that you maximize your ROI. We have many partners that help us do what we do: law firms, venture capital firms, angel investor groups, incubators, accelerators, colleges, universities, and lots of other players in the Silicon Valley startup ecosystem. So tonight, once again, we're grateful to Perkins Coie for hosting us at this beautiful venue. And we've been here many times. Is this a beautiful venue? Is this a beautiful venue? Well, thank you again, Perkins Coie. Do you want to say anything now?
Very much, yeah. Well,
or later?
I'll do it later. You
Okay.
do the introductory stuff. And
Okay.
when we get
Armin is representing Perkins Coie. Yeah, I also want to thank Perkins Coie for providing us with an awesome moderator.
You're welcome.
TBD. So though our local mission is to support entrepreneurs here in Silicon Valley, our global mission is to democratize entrepreneurship and innovation all around the world. To that end, we maintain a robust YouTube channel, youtube.com/idea-to-IPO. Well, check it out. We have tons of videos, and this rich, valuable content is available on demand, anytime, anywhere, totally free of charge. Our partner in this endeavor is Tim Jeggers, one of the top professional videographers and digital marketing experts in Silicon Valley. So let's hear it for Tim. Applause.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everybody. So I'm Tim Jagers from Pacific Bay Media. I've been doing multimedia content for a really long time now. Started my own production house where we specialize in videography and photography mainly, but we also bring people together for like graphics, animations, any level of production from like a little talking head video in your office, promotional content, all the way up to like Netflix approved cinema cameras and stuff. So we do pretty much everything, small to mid-sized. I mean, we're not like Hollywood or anything, but probably like 2 more years if you want to get a full film done, we might be able to help you then. In the meantime, we do like customer stories and a lot of promotional content. So if you have questions about that or photography or anything multimedia, I will be in my temporary office in the back there. And I'll pass it back to Rob, and thanks for hosting us, Armin.
Here's the schedule for the rest of the evening. Our panel will hold a brilliant, compelling, dynamic, entertaining, and scintillating discussion. Right, panel? Absolutely. No pressure. At 8 o'clock, we'll open it up to questions from the audience. We'll end the program at 8:30 p.m. You can stick around for a few minutes, network, socialize, connect, talk to our panelists. As a courtesy to Perkins Coie, we need to leave the building by 9 p.m. sharp. There will be an after party, though. More on that later.
Okay.
So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to our distinguished moderator, Armin Palavan, partner at Perkins Coie. So let's give it up for Armin and our panel. Applause.
To the panel. Thank you, Rob. First of all, Rob, I think you know a fair amount about our firm. We've been doing this 10 years with Rob. It's been a long time, and it's been a great, great friendship and partnership and collaboration with Rob. We're big on diversity and inclusion. Look at this panel. It's all diverse tonight. So my hat off to you, Rob, for bringing so many great people to this. There's all this talk about, you know, women not being properly represented at partners in venture capital funds, which I think is true. So we have 2 distinguished folks here, from the 2 ladies here, Chin and Ella. Do you want me to speak louder? Okay. Next, I wanted to thank really our staff, who was Athena and Scott, who really have been working quite late, you know, into the evening to make this all happen. They've been working all day long. So thanks to Athena and Scott. Hopefully they can hear our gratitude being broadcast. I'm going to tell you just a couple of words about what I do and what we do at Perkins. So Perkins Coie is an international law firm. We have offices in Europe and in Asia and across the United States. We are a global firm, and we do pretty much everything. We build great companies, and we're partners to great companies. Microsoft, Intel, we incorporated Amazon, we incorporated Cloudera, we incorporated Zillow, we incorporated Trulia. I mean, the name and list goes on and on. Our first client ever, 110 years ago, was the Boeing Corporation.
Wow.
And we are still an outside service provider for them, even though we grew out of Seattle and then we went, you know, the Boeing guys went to Chicago over time. We still have an incredibly close relationship with them. So what's relevant in terms of our practice in Palo Alto, we focus on a few things. First, we do what I love to do, which is emerging companies and venture capital work. So my practice covers the larger span of private equity, which starts really by forming the investment partnerships so that the invest companies are formed, the venture capital funds are formed to do the investment. And then we help them in their transactions with the portfolio companies, which is either a minority investment, which we call venture capital, or we do control investments, which is private equity. And then we represent the portfolio companies as their outside counsel to do all their work. So whether it's acquiring real estate or a lease, whether it's acquiring another company, whether it's going public, whether it's divesting of some assets, benefits, labor across the board. Okay, so that's kind of what we do and what the firm does. And the firm does everything. We have a bankruptcy and restructuring group. We have a real estate department. We do land use. You just name it. But one thing we definitely do that's also relevant here is a patent prosecution. My partner, Jordan Becker. Jordan, raise your hand. So Jordan is one of our patent prosecution partners who's very active in the life sciences world. So please reach out to him with any questions you may have around some of these issues and in patent prosecution. And then we have patent litigation. This goes on and on. So I wanted to go ahead and start the program. Enough said, enough Perkins Coie. And want to go to you guys. So how many of you guys are academicians? Anybody from the academics world here? One. And where are you doing your genetics? The Snyder, Michael Snyder's work, that's fantastic. So how many of you are entrepreneurs? That's a very large number.
Bravo.
How many of you are executives looking to move up in different sectors, okay? And I take it most of you are in the life sciences world right now, am I correct? Most of you have that interest. Certainly I know Michael Snyder and his group. Fantastic. So it gives us an idea about who the audience is. And with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and around and say hello to each one of you guys. Maybe you can spend a few words about what you do. So Ella, you were immediately to my left, so please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, first of all, it's really a pleasure to be here and also excited to see my panelist colleagues. So my name is Ella Lee. I'm the founding partner of H7 Bell Capital. We are the healthcare venture platform for healthcare innovations. And we have 3 arms under the company. The first arm is our investment arm. We do syndicate investment on life science company and also medtech, like device and also digital medicine companies. Our check size stays from $100K to $2 million, and a stage from seed plus to Series B round. So that is our first arm. The second arm is our Angel Club. So from time to time, we share the deals with our other investor fellows, including family office, angel investors, and also other VCs that we share the deals with. The third arm is our accelerator program arm. So each year we run 1 cohort. It's a virtual program. Under that, we have a 2 track. One is a life science track focused on drug development. The other track is a medtech track. And actually, this year we're gonna start a program around September. And we have around 100 wonderful advisors helping the program, including the healthcare investors, pharma executives, entrepreneurs, lawyers, and also regulator experts. Actually, my favorite fellow here, he's also one of our advisor here. So yeah, so it's really a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Jordan, tell us about you.
Yes, sir. I am honored and privileged to be sitting next to Dr. Ella. When I heard she's coming here, I'm like, I cannot be here. I cannot actually level up to what she does. So a great panel here. I'm Jordan Wabe with Silicon Valley Venture Group. We're also part of a group called Network VC. We syndicate investments for pre-Series A and A. We write checks between $150,000 and $500,000. I personally do enterprise, B2B, B2B2C, and we, like Dr. Ella, we share deals with VCs and we take deals from VCs. Most important for me is the business has to improve the human condition, has to be something meaningful, useful. So no TikTok, no streaming, no food, none of that stuff. Rob has been kind enough to include me in some of those sessions, so most of you know me. But an area of focus for us right now is dual tech use. Companies and services that apply to the government DoD as well as the commercial sector. In the world we live in, that's becoming more prevalent, more important. And the venture space has had the most rate of growth in that sector since 2016. There's been more increase in the venture space investments in that sector. So if you have a solution that can apply to both sectors, talk to us.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Yasuko, would you please tell us a few words about yourself and what you do and what your company does?
Yeah, my name is Yosuke Kamimura from Xeon Ventures. Actually, I got invitations last night. And I don't know what this,
What this is about.
Yeah, conference about.
We will break you in, don't worry. Slowly.
Yeah, I don't know any people here except few people. Yeah, so I'm kind of.
Do you need a hug? They give you a hug.
Thank you. And anyway, Xeon Venture is subsidiary of the Xeon Corporation. Xeon is a Japan-based chemical material companies, and very legacy plastic material companies. And the since people complaining about consuming the oil, petroleum oil, so we have to do something. So that Xeon created the venture capital arm in Silicon Valley, and now we have been investing in the climate tech and the battery technologies and the next generation energies and those kind of areas. And I joined the Xeon Ventures 7 months ago, and I'm in charge of the life science, healthcare industries. And since Xeon is pretty much plastic companies, I'm currently looking at plastic-related innovations, like microfluidics, for example, used for the next generation sequencers, everybody loves, and digital PCR, of course, and diagnostics, and bioreactors, and CAR T cell manufacturing type innovations. So if you're working in that sectors, please, come to me.
Yasuko, it's about time that oil companies invest in healthcare, so it's a good thing. We're happy that
Thank
you're
you.
doing that.
Thank you. Right, yeah.
That's great. Sanjit, please, if you could tell us a few words
Thank
about
you.
yourself.
I have stopped counting. I don't know. This is my 100th appearance at Idea to IPO events. That's my rough count. So thank you thank you, Rob, for all the invites. You've been very kind. Good to see so many familiar faces. Good to see Arman here as well, hosting again. Thank you always. My name is Sanjeet. I have been in the Valley for 24 years. Used to be at Intel Capital, where I drove investments across a variety of areas, including AI. And now I co-run a firm called U First Capital, U meaning entrepreneur first, or founders first. And we have made investments in over 25 companies so far. And increasingly, our check sizes have gone up as well. We used to write 1 to 2 million average check size. And I think we're now writing 10, around 10 million check sizes, depending on the company and the stage as well. Sectors wise, we tend to look at companies that build a technology focused moat, at least a barrier to entry based on some strong IP. And we do go across sectors from healthcare to e-commerce to fintech. A lot of our companies are horizontals. So we've invested in, recently, I'll talk about some of the recent companies. Recently, we've invested in the Gen AI companies like Anthropic and Cohere. And as you can imagine, a lot of these companies are going across sectors, including touching healthcare as well. We are also investors in Neuralink, which is Elon Musk's brain chip, bold company to say the least. And stage-wise, we have done deals across stages. We like to come in early, seed plus, Series A. But our bar is quite high in terms of the founder background, as well as in terms of if there is another VC coming in at the same time or not.
Sanjit, if I
Yeah.
may pass the baton over to Jin.
Sure.
She has to get on a call around 7:30.
Oh,
Just to say
okay,
a few
sure.
words
Yeah,
about
I was done.
No,
I was done anyways. Yeah.
Go
But
ahead.
thank you.
Sure.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is a great.
No problem.
Thank you, Arman. And thank
I
you.
didn't forget.
Yeah, great to be here, and it's great to see old friends, Christina, like at our demo day, and my friend Yoska as well. For all DV partners, it stands for Leonardo da Vinci Partners. We're deep tech, early stage venture capital. I take care of tech bio and health tech, and we do venture creation. We've done a couple deals with Stanford, so we have very close connection from a patent, talking to the patent licensing office, and all the way to build a team and find a strategy. Done it a few times, happy to chat. I hang around the campus all the time. And we do, in terms of deep tech, we have the flexibility of stage. Currently, looking at a couple growth stage companies as well. Love Health Tech, it is scalable, proved business will be of particular interest to us. I do apologize to step out for some time, but I'll be back for Q&A and for social. Love to learn more about what you are passionate about.
Don't you worry. Thanks, Jim, for participating in the discussion. Feel free to leave whenever you need to. Wonderful. So let's get started. Okay, we're covering health tech today. Ella, tell us about health tech. What is health tech? It's in some ways it's an easy answer, which is the interjunction between health and technology, but it has a specific flavor to it, right? Tell us about what you feel health tech is, and what of those interjunctions you're interested in.
So health tech, actually my understanding there's two sectors under. One is a biotech sector, the other is a medtech sector. So biotech sector has major focus on drug discovery and diagnosis. For instance, last year we had a particular interest changing from small molecule to ADC development and CGT, cell gene therapy, and also have the flavor into indication-wise, we were interested more into, let's say, autoimmune disease, regenerative disease. So, and also we look at, for instance, drug delivery platform. So we tend to put them into this biotech track. The second track is a medtech track, so including the device and also digital medicine. So for that, we have a particular interest in AI, in let's say drug discovery, and also AI in image analysis. One of our portfolio company in the AI drug discovery, which is the sector is really crowded. But one of our portfolio, he's doing really very unique in the space is so they providing algorithm that is especially user friendly. That can provide some algorithm to a chemist who does not have any computational background to use, and can really increase the potency of the drug, let's say, candidate for 1,000 times, maybe from 100 micromolar to 100 nanomolar. So that is a great example of what we're looking into. My understanding for today's audience have a lot of life science, so like probably drug discovery side, right? The therapeutic side, diagnosis side, right? So that is today's
guys,
for today's audience.
Some drug discovery folks here.
Yeah, so to make this short, biotech is quite different from medtech in a way that really costly and also lengthy regarding the data and also generation, also clinical trial, and also for the investor, we all need really deep domain knowledge regarding how to choose the best company in the sector. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. I want to just follow up on that, but really just also ask, is there a favorite health tech sector that you're interested in, or some of the portfolio companies that you've been instrumental in funding that you can tell us about, and what sectors they're in?
Thank you. The biotech, as Dr. Ella said, it's pretty complicated. It's real science. That's not for us. We're in deep tech, but we don't do the bio sector. We're more on the med tech devices, but my favorite areas is the enterprise class, where you're able to level up the performance of the service providers, the health drugs, the CVSs, the hospitals, the back office, the integration of the things that make the delivery of the services possible. The drug itself works, but absent the road from prescription to the patient, to the analysis, to that back office work is highly neglected. With the, not the generative AI, but the true AI, you're able to consolidate and extract a lot more value and services and context from the existing enterprise class services for these companies and provide substantially better value to the patient, better cost to the service providers, and better outcomes for all that are involved. So I like the enterprise classes. We don't do the pharma because it's really complicated,
Right.
very tricky, but the enterprise business, we're good at it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thanks, Jessica, for the change in the microphone, but Jessica, I would like to kind of talk to you a little bit about, you know, what the sectors that you guys are working in, you know, because one of the important things on the corporate venture capital is that, frankly, every company needs a CVC around the table because you guys have the deepest pocket. But I'm not saying this in a joking manner. It's that when other people around the table were venture capitalists, you know, obviously there are those venture capitalists that have unlimited amount of funds. There's Sequoias of the world, there's Hostla, there's NEA, they are all deep in healthcare. But a lot of them are not like that. A lot of them are like Ela's company or Shin's company, or so where they don't have the deepest pocket. They do $2 million investments, like $20 million checks. You know? Speak louder. It's the first time I've been talking speak louder in my life. I will make it happen. Trust you me. I got it. Thank you. How about this? Is this better? Yeah. You're asking me to do something that I have no idea how to do. So let's just keep going. I'll speak louder. Thank you, Ella. Okay. So Jessica, you're an important part of the ecosystem. Okay. So tell us some healthcare, you know, fields that you're interested in, and maybe give us an example of a couple of the companies you may have invested in.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, very specific to our farm.
Yep.
As I mentioned, I'm looking at the next generation sequences. And now, if you go to the many academic conferences, everybody talking about single cell genomics and the spatial genomics. So, of course, the 10x genomics dominating the industry. But if you look at carefully in the startup, you know, ecosystem, there are potential, you know, giant killers. And so I'm looking at, you know, those small companies who potentially beat the 10x genomics.
Fantastic. So, Sanjit, I know that you guys have invested in Neuralink, I think, right? How did you get into Neuralink, and why Neuralink? Was there something that drove you to it from a technology perspective, or was it just the founder that you were investing in? I'm kind of curious to hear your thesis.
Yeah, no, great question. Founder is obviously a big part of our investment thesis, but that's
Do
not
you guys
enough.
know who the founder of Neuralink is? Sanjit.
The co-founder of Neuralink is Elon Musk, and but you know, beyond that part, I want to just answer your question a little bit deeper. We tend to gravitate towards companies, I mentioned this earlier as well, that have a solid IP, technology-based IP, number one. Number two, that are also driving something bold, so that it makes us a little uncomfortably comfortable when we are investing. If this works, this is a rocket ship. It could go totally south as well. We invested in another company called WorldCoin. Has anybody heard of the company, WorldCoin?
What is the name again?
WorldCoin, one person.
WorldCoin. No.
The co-founder of WorldCoin is Sam Altman, who is also the CEO and co-founder of OpenAI.
You travel in small circles.
I know. No, but I didn't pick that example for name calling. I picked that example to support the investment
No, we
thesis.
understand. Yeah.
The company is trying to create create a technology platform where it can differentiate between bots and humans, number one, and number two, use that platform to distribute money, to give, for example, universal basic income is one use case, etc. And they're doing it across the globe. So if you Google for WorldCoin, they go in countries, they try it out, they start rolling it out, they run it for 9 to 12 months, and then the country finds out, the government finds out what is happening because there is an eyeball scanning mechanism that they have to do. That's what I'm getting to.
Why
They've
don't you
done it in
speak
so
up?
many countries, and they keep getting banned in every country. And that, I'm sorry? That is, I don't think that's correct. But anyways, the point is to differentiate between bots and humans, they scan your eyeballs. And there has been a lot of controversy around, hey, why are you keeping my people, my citizens' data, etc. So the latest country to ban is Spain, Portugal as well, and few other countries, right? But my point here is beyond the names or beyond the founders,
Yep.
we tend to gravitate towards people who have a big vision,
Right.
global vision, who want to solve grassroots level problems, who want to actually use tech for humanity,
Yep.
and have the firepower and the muscle power to build that and go for the long run.
Fantastic. And I do know about what Sanjit does, and I've had the wonderful fortune of spending some time with you, so I get what you guys are doing. I can tell you something about this whole sector of this eyes and figuring out from the eyes about what's happening. I've been deeply inside the company in mental health. I've been kind of a silent co-founder of the company. The company's been around for quite some time. So on the mental health side, the companies like MindStrong came around, where they were going to determine by the usage, by the running of your fingers on your phone, they were going to detect whether or not you have depression, anxiety, Alzheimer, all these kind of diseases. Yes, you were going to say something.
No, I didn't understand what you,
They would measure how you are running your finger on your phone, and by the typing of the buttons, they felt that they could predict whether you're predisposed to any of these mental health conditions. I thought it was crazy when I heard about it. $125 million of cash went into it from big investors, and it blew up and it shut down. So a lot of these companies that really have this kind of like predictability based on some of these predispositions of, what's the right word? Proclivity to usage of your hands or your eyes or your speech.
Behavioral or
Behavioral manifestation of your,
physiological metrics.
Thank you so much. Physiological manifestations of your body and determination of proclivity to diseases. I think that's a very complicated thing to find out.
And but the fact that it blew up is not failure.
I agree. It's a good thing.
Right? So it's even though the company looks like, I didn't know the company, but it raised 125 million and it blew up.
From all the right investors, from Foundation Capital, I think.
Yeah,
Whereas in
yeah.
big ones, right?
Yeah.
Real ones.
Yeah.
That new stuff.
So that's what we as investors are expected to do, to further the envelope, push the envelope.
That's right.
Here, right? If I keep investing and looking for the next WhatsApp,
Right.
I'm not furthering humanity. I'm not pushing the boundaries of what technology can achieve for all of us here.
That's great.
Actually, I do have a follow-up. Actually, I do have a follow-up comments regarding the company that eventually falls apart. So I agree. Sanjay was saying it may not be the company not working. So the fact they raise a lot of money from all those big names may or may not be things. So we always talking with a company regarding it's not raising so much capital more than what you need. Sometimes it's really a bad sign. First is you are going to have a problem for next round of raising for the money at your current valuation. The second, with all the money raised, you got to hit all those milestone that you promise, and that you are under radar for a lot of things. So especially nowadays, this 2 years or 3 years, when all of us have really hard issue for funding sources, we want the companies to be really frugal in a way to really know the use of the funding, and that is also I think this is a great example related to what you're talking about.
Perfect. Yes, I totally agree that the difference between what companies that get funded as normal companies versus the Neuralink and the Sam Altman companies is that those companies are raising billions of dollars, right? They're not looking to raise, whether they should raise 15 or 25. You know what I mean? The numbers are astronomical, so they don't plateau. The plateau is very different for them if you compare to venture capital than other ones. So it's a world of its own. It's a fabulous world. Let's move on. I want to talk about health tech and COVID, right? One of the things that I think is really of incredible importance when you guys are devising what to do as a startup company is a product fit to market, right? I think there's two things, frankly. I don't think it's the market that's that important. I think it's the people that's important, and the product fit to market of your product is important. And the complexity of this is like a hockey player. I was at an LP meeting of one of our funds, and it was like a hockey player that they had the image of a hockey player that has the puck going. So he has to go where the puck is going to end up, right? So that's the product fit to market concept, because when you start, you think that you have an idea that at that moment there may be a product fit to market. But 3 years down the line, when you finally get to raise the money, put the team together, raise a second amount of money, and then go out there and start commercializing, the market may have disappeared that was there 3 years ago. Or what happened in COVID, all sorts of markets appeared in health tech, right? Because it became for the first time, everybody was talking about healthcare, about mental health. So, Jordan, I know you like to do enterprise deals. You like to do enterprise. And I don't know to what extent the enterprise deals catch on. For example, when you were talking about the back of the house at CVS for efficiency and productivity of fulfilling drugs, which CVS sucks at, frankly, right? They often give you the wrong drug or they don't have it. So how does a thing like COVID, create opportunities for back-end solutions? Have you seen it? Have you seen any companies that have done any of the developments on doing a better job of the back end on the enterprise? Or has it just been a complete craze, which, with all the demands on the healthcare that went on as a result of COVID?
It's actually both. The logistics supply chain, COVID exposed the weakness in that.
Yep.
And the least investable sector, one of the least investable sector right now is logistics. It peaked. Everybody wanted to do something about logistics, and now people are like, it's behind us. We don't really care. In the COVID, it exposed so many things. One of them is the back office, efficiency, deliverability, data management, so forth. Then pile on that the AI craze, and now everybody and their brother and their dog is trying to fix the back office for health back office issues. It's all about one thing: how much money can I make? If the service providers cannot make a lot of money, then there's a problem. The regulation and the government and the public view of the performance of those service providers matter, so they have to respond to that, but that's not the number one factor. The number one factor is, can I make a profit delivering this drug from here to here, or this service from here to here? So COVID exposed a lot of issues and challenges, and then there was a peak and a craze about it. But now it's settling down. It's going back to normal. It's going back to what I call rational, not exuberance. So for me, I'm looking at companies that are solving the fundamentals of the existing system by leveling up the performance. And it's boring, super boring, really boring. But
And there are companies that are focusing on logistics for healthcare.
No, I use the example of logistics as COVID created a logistics
So I
problem
appreciate that.
awareness.
But are there actually companies that are trying to focus, because there must be, the hospital chains have logistic problems that are very specific to hospital chains.
Indeed.
Have any of them come to you to looking for funding or no?
Not on logistics, billing, processing,
see.
diagnosis, data transfer, identification of what the conditions are from X-rays and MRIs and
Workflow?
And at some point, no longer the case, optimizing the usage of the capital and the equipment.
Yep.
You know, the machines aren't used. That's all kind of behind us. It's back to fundamentals. So if you're solving the fundamental problem of that, then you're going to find a lot of open ears from the investors. If you're trying to optimize or do some crypto or do something that happened in 2020, 21, 22, that's behind us. Nobody really cares about that right now.
Yep. Thank you. Ella, AI, you're looking at earlier stage companies, right? And those are the companies that really are implementing AI today, because if you don't have a big AI story, it's hard to get funded. What are some of the AI aspects of development that is getting play right now in the healthcare?
So there are three particular area that I found very interesting. So first, as I mentioned about this AI in drug discovery, and that was also really boosted by COVID-19. So before that, the vaccine development would need more than 5 years' time, but with the help of AI in drug target identification, it shortened the time to less than 1 year. But that being said, after COVID-19, all this hype, let's say, starting from last year, actually, if you look at all the top company in the sector, let's say Schrödinger, Atomwise, in Silicon, none of them are doing really well. Actually, so now investors are really holding back about their investment strategy to this company. And part of the reason is none of the company has a true validation regarding the compound screen from their algorithm. So if you look at the data, for instance, last year, that was a peak year with 6 compounds went to clinical trial coming from the AI use of the target identification and also optimization process. None of them make, all of them fail at phase 2. And there's also a lot of reasons about this algorithm. So I would not really, so I would say, you know, it's not, the hype is not as big as last year. And the trend will definitely continue, but definitely now it's not really the big time yet. The second part we'll look at is AI in image analysis. So this is also really, really crowded space. Well, majority of the company, I would say 90% of the company are focused on the image analysis, just, you know, guided interpretation for the physician. The company we're looking at actually are coming from a very unique perspective. For instance, one company we're looking at, they focus on the upstream. So with using the software, it can help the hardware, let's say the machine, let's say the MRI or PET-CT, to improve their resolution without changing anything on the hardware side. So that has significantly decreased the cost and also decrease the time patients are lying under the tube. The third part is the decentralized clinical trial, and that is also boosted by the COVID-19. So decentralized, so clinical trial, one part of the reason or factor whether it can be successful or not depends on the selection of subjects, right? So with the use of AI, it can really stratify or group these patients based on, let's say, their biomarker or clinical characteristic in order to have a better successful rate of the clinical trial. So those are the 3 major areas we're looking at of the use of AI in healthcare.
And those are all in the drug development space, right? What you were talking about.
Yeah, AI in drug development are in the drug development space, and AI in image analysis, decentralized trial, we put them in the MedTech track.
And then usually in the in the normal days, you would be doing these through CROs, primarily. CROs, you would be hiring some CROs to do the drug development, analysis, right? Are you guys, now that, are your companies, or does the industry now look to use their own AI developments in-house to determine the analysis of drug development, or are they still giving it out to CROs?
No, not exactly. So if you look at a majority of CRO, actually China is a really big source, right, for all
Right.
the CDMO CRO companies. So I would say majority of them have their own internal team to use AI to help screen some compound.
CROs or the actual biotech companies?
CRO work on their own.
Right.
For the clients, they don't really use CRO for that purpose. So for instance, they AI, as I mentioned, if you look at the successful rate of AI in drug development, it's zero, right? None of the company really made it to the approval stage. So everyone know this is still in the very early stage. Despite of the big money going to that sector, in reality, companies are still using the traditional way, just starting from the high throughput method, the traditional in vitro, and also this method. There are AI companies, so I'm saying like there's a lot of AI in drug discovery space are really struggling. So they try to, traditional way is they provide such service to other biotech companies, provide some candidate or compound that they want to try. But now because they're struggling, so they are also trying to maybe to develop the drug themselves, which is, I disagree completely, since they need also, you need a special team on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yasko, back to you if you would please. And again, this may not be necessarily a sector that you follow, but are you investing, are you seeing large investments by CVCs other than you in this healthcare space around issues of therapeutics? Or are you seeing the investments around other aspects of healthcare and health tech?
Yeah, it's, first, before that.
Let me tell you why I caught on to this.
Yeah.
Because of what you were saying about the issues of diagnostics, for example. You had mentioned diagnostics. The diagnostics is a field that has been taken over by arrays and agents and reagents and stuff like that, right? Are there going to be further developments in that wet lab space of diagnostics that you're seeing?
We are pretty new to that field, so
Okay.
It's difficult to answer for me. But before and after the COVID pandemic, we clearly see the obvious trend, the messenger RNA, of course, and before COVID-19, it was one of the most ridiculous idea is using the messenger RNA for the vaccine.
Right.
It's mRNA is $100,000 for 1 milligram. You cannot do even the single experiment. So it's too expensive. It's ridiculous. But now everybody got messenger RNA already twice, 3 times, 4 times.
Yep.
Yeah. So this changed the entire biotech industries. Pharmaceutical companies think the mRNA plus lipid nanoparticle is a standard. So the lipid nanoparticle and mRNA or nucleic acid medicine and the related technologies are more familiar to the investors, even the players like us, outside of the pharmaceutical companies.
I appreciate that, actually. That's great. And then the last question, Sanjit, if you would please give us your views about role of health tech and venture capital. Is it robust? Do you see it as a robust kind of a market for venture capital investments in health tech over the next 5 years?
I think there are several VCs who are focused particularly on health tech investments. I know quite a few besides the ones on this panel. But I think COVID and Gen AI both have given an inflection point in the curve for VCs to invest more in healthcare. And they have become like the platforms on which you can actually innovate more. There are more problems created, long COVID, etc. Right. Number two, Gen AI can be an enabler of a lot of solutions. Right. I interact with Mike Snyder as well. I'm quite amazed by his energy and the breadth of things he can manage. I don't, as a dean of School of Medicine at Stanford, I don't even know how he finds time to send. But every 2-3 weeks, I'll get a startup from him, a startup intro, from gene therapy to long COVID startup to another, within the healthcare, it's across the domain, or AI for paper writing. I think is one of his latest startups. So when I see those emails and when I read the description, I'm quite amazed. So I do feel that the VC investing in health tech space is actually on an upswing, because VCs are seeing the opportunity quite tremendously here.
Thank you so much. Ella, you want to say something? You're the last word.
I also want to echo that. Starting from this year, actually, a lot of big name VC, I would not mention their name, but a lot of big name VC dropping their biotech or biotech sectors regarding investment. So that is also something quite, I wouldn't say depressing, but that is also, of course, caused by a lot of factors. The biotech investment tends to have a much longer exit time, also high risk, because they want to diversify their portfolio. But there's something we observe starting from this year.
And that's especially so in this subsector that you guys are focusing on, which is the drug discovery and the bio stuff. What a wonderful group. Thank you so much for participating tonight. Thanks to our audience for being here, which makes all this happen. So thank you. Go ahead, Rob.
You missed one question, Armin. How do audience members contact the panelists? So you're welcome to give out your cell number, home address, whatever, best way to be reached. So, Ella.
LinkedIn is fine. Ella Lee, H7.
LinkedIn for me as well, Jordan Wabi.
You can email me, sanjeet@ufirstcapital.com. If you want to send LinkedIn, the problem is my LinkedIn is full, so I created a second LinkedIn account. So if you want to connect, LinkedIn is also fine, but I have to tell everybody, look for the second account, okay?
Sanjay.
LinkedIn has a limit, 30,000. So once I reached that, I tried to fight with LinkedIn. Hey, can you expand the numbers? They didn't want to budge. I was like, okay, then I'll just create a second one, let it go to 30,000.
Well, Sanjay is a very responsive email person, so email him. He answers it. So now it's time for audience participation. So if you have a question for our panel, we're going to have a little line here, so step right up to the lectern. This is not a pitch event, so do not deliver a pitch or a thinly disguised pitch. If you do, you will have to deal with Joe, our bouncer. So first question. Mehdi, you have a question? Come on up. Step right up. Speak into the mic. This is for our video. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great panel, actually. Great to hear all of your thoughts. So I work in the biotech for several years, not a pitch. I'm actually curious to hear your thought. In the drug discovery, one of the major challenges is finding the target that will modulate, that will give the therapeutic benefit, and that has been quite challenging. So I'm curious to hear, maybe whoever wants to take it, do you prefer a first-in-class, which we found, but no clinical validation, obviously, very high risk, or best-in-class or best-in-disease, where there is a validation, but has to have a very high differentiation against the current drug? And I'll give you a little of an anecdote there, is that KRAS has been known for many years as a extremely validated target, but only recently did we find a drug, like 2-3 years ago, from Mirati and Amgen. So I'm curious to hear your thought in terms of the first-in-class versus best-in-class. Thank you.
Who would like to take this? Ella?
So our preference is number one is definitely first in class. But again, we also look at many factors. For instance, the indication, which disease. We do have a particular particular interest in, for instance, oncology and neurodegenerative disease, autoimmune disease, and regenerative medicine. Those are our focus. And we also look at a particular modality and also signaling pathway. So there are pathways, some pathway that may not be first in class. But we've been knowing it has a really great efficacy regarding, the drug interaction. So we would look at that. So in China, so I originally from China, we have a lot of Me Too drugs. Actually, a lot of the ISAID were purchased from United States or Europe. And the company eventually have a really successful exit out, really played the financial very well. Just bought the company in and then do some, upgrade and then just sell the company in a couple of years. And this is not what we're looking at. So, but of course, like each investor has their different unique investment strategy. Yeah.
But momentum is, sometimes change time to time, right?
I love you disagreeing with each other, so keep going.
Yeah, because sometimes one pharma companies start seeing the success. For example, the GLP-1, the weight loss and drug. Then everybody chasing after the similar drug. Not always first in class. So that keep happening. So.
Go ahead, Ella. Go ahead. Fight it out. Let's go.
No.
Put on the boxing gloves.
I kind of agree on that, but I'm saying yes. For instance, like GLP-1, that a particular target is become really popular for multiple reasons, right? So if you, especially for instance, if you're looking at some, let's say a liver disease, targeting at that pathway, it has a much better response rate compared to other target. So there is a reason to go after that. But again, there's also limitations. So for instance, like a GLP-1, right? So people use this as a weight loss medicine, but there's also 40% of the muscle loss coming from the drug. So we still expect to see another new drug coming out that has a better or have at least a similar weight loss effect, but doesn't really have so much, muscle loss.
That's amazing. I didn't know about the 40% muscle loss, so I should just not eat. All right, go ahead.
Isn't a lot of that due to rapid weight loss, which brings about muscle loss anyway?
So GLP-1, this is a diabetes drug originally, right? So it's not really the weight loss drug, but it's being used, that target being used in many other metabolic diseases. Yes, it can be good in some way, but it's not really direct target. So when we look at that, a lot of times, when we do this competitive analysis, and we usually just, the first thing coming out is a GLP-1, and we would looking at, okay, so what is really other, side effect may coming from that target as well. So, pros and cons for that.
Very interesting. Next, any other takers for questions from the audience? That was a great question, by the way. Thank you. Please, come on up. Oh, Mehdi is here. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mehdi Arani. I'm one of clients of Arman. It's been great to me since I moved to San Francisco.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arman.
Yeah. Thanks, Mehdi, for being here.
I'm a co-founder of a medical technology company. We developed a product just on... No, I'm not pitching. I want to get to my question.
He's my client. He can do whatever he wants.
So we developed a medical technology to prevent pneumonia as a side project, and then during COVID, we realized that it has an application also with COVID. So we submitted for EUA, and then we got EUA, and then I quit my job, and here I am. So when I moved here, I thought I would get a lot of reception, but something that I noticed that whenever I pitch to biotech company, VCs and so on, as soon as they hear it's a hardware, it's a wall goes up. Our device does have on the roadmap in the future the data part, but the first line is the hardware. So am I not going to the right VCs, or is it my positioning that needs to be adjusted?
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think Jordan is the guy, right?
It's everything you said and then some. So product market fit, you're pitching to VCs who don't do hardware, so don't even go there. You're not gonna change them, they're vegans, you want them to eat meat, it's just not gonna happen. And I get this all the time. They come to me, they wanna pitch me like, this is not my product. Let me talk to you like, it's not what I do. Hell, let me ask, dude, it's not my sector. So if it's not a hardware VC, just don't go there.
Yeah, but every medical tech device has a hardware associated with it, right? So it's like hard to do just medical device without a hardware, right? Either they implant it inside your heart or it's a diagnostic tool that's outside. So there's some device that does the measurement. Go ahead, Sanjay.
Yes, look, you have to do your homework before you pitch to a VC. You need to understand what sectors they have invested in, what kind of companies they actually have put money in, right? There are several VCs who invest in hardware companies. Phoenix Venture Partners is one. They invest in materials. Yeah, there are a lot of those, right? Catalyst Ventures in East Coast, in Boston area. There are HFX Ventures here. There's so many. You start pitching to them with, obviously you still need a good story and everything. You will get funding. It's not that difficult, but
I think what you need to do is get to know Sanjit. I'm serious. Okay? He knows lots of people, and it's not Sam Altman and Elon, but he really does have a very strong, span of knowledge about this. And so, Sanjit, if I may,
happy to.
that's very
My
kind of you.
honor.
Thank you so much.
Hence the lockdown.
No, but Sanjit is the most generous guy that you'll ever meet. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Sanjit.
Thank you.
Okay, next person, please.
If you have a question, come on up and stand in line. It's not a big deal.
This feels so privileged asking questions like this. So
That's great.
I'm just wondering, so AI drug discovery companies have been around now since like 2013 at least. Why do you think they haven't delivered?
Why is it what?
Why do you think they haven't delivered?
The AI companies, they have been around for a long time. Some of them have, right? I can give you one company that has, which I don't know if you guys know them. It was the chairman is the principal investigator for the Viagra drug, and they have a company called Helix, Healx, that's out of Cambridge, and they're doing orphan drugs, and they're using AI to develop orphan drugs. And the CEO of the company is an incredibly gregarious Belgian guy, younger, and he claims that AI has completely quickened the pace of their discovery of multiple drugs in the orphan drug sector. Again, they're not looking at blockbusters, right? So, but go ahead, any of you, please.
I can
Go ahead.
I can tell you the realities. The AI company come to the R&D divisions of the pharmaceutical companies and proposing, hey, you should target these genes with this compound or antibodies. Who test? The pharma companies, scientists, have to get budget from their boss, 100,000 or 200,000 or even more. Then test the drug 3 months, 4 months. If nothing happened, who get laid off? Not AI companies. So that's why that they are R&D divisions. They have their own target already internally, and the AI company, cannot push their target. So that's kind of difficult politics in the R&D division.
So we're going through this AI pandemic stage, and by the end of the summer, it should be behind us. There's a lot of companies who claim to do this and that through AI because there's access to compute. That wasn't the case a year ago. This access to compute has created a frenzy. And there was the cloud graveyard and the application graveyard. There's going to be an AI graveyard that's coming as we speak. So what Dr. Ella, I can't speak for her, but what she's referring to, these people are promising fast deliveries in the span of months or quarters. That's not going to happen. But the true AI companies are capable and they are delivering, and many of them are getting acquired and getting further funding. So if you're a true AI, you're not just doing the pandemic AI, you're 2 layers in the depth of AI, then you have a great potential. And that's what investors are looking for. If you just claim to have an AI tie and an AI shoes, that's not going to happen. Back to you, Doctor.
And also that goes to the nature of this drug development. So for instance, in order for that work, you need to have a big amount of great quality data. So great quality is missing here. So if you're looking at all this published, data, how many can be really, replicated? Maybe less than 5%. So it's just the replication is really is off here. So quality. The second thing is amount of data that is available to train the algorithm. So so far all this, let's say protein structure, all this data we have compared to data we need to train the algorithm. If you use a metaphor or comparison, it's kind of like a 1 drop of water from ocean versus the whole ocean. That's the second thing. The third thing is it's kind of like let's say when you train the algorithm, you need not only the positive data, but also the negative data. But a lot of those in the scientific or R&D field, the data source coming from published data source, right, publication. But in the field, we all publish, when we get the positive results, we publish. Nobody's really publishing the negative data. So that is also lacking of one source to train for the data training. So all this together would also be the factor attributed to the limitation use of AI in drug discovery now.
Great. Yep. Great. Thank you. And you can follow up with the speakers afterwards. Hello there.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name's Heidi Glasser. I'm with Medicines 360, a women's health nonprofit pharma company. I was formerly with Stanford Biodesign and NeuroPace, and so nod to Neuralink. I'm really happy to hear you've invested in them, just because brain-computer interfaces have the ability to impact lives, people's quality of
Where
life.
is NeuroPace, by the way? I did the Series C financing for them 20 years ago with NEA. Are they?
Yeah, we IPO'd in 2021.
Okay.
And
What's going on with them now?
there's a new CEO, Joel Becker. The stock price is slowly
Fantastic.
ticking back up. They were the first, closed loop neurostimulation system approved for the brain.
I'm so happy to hear that.
We were always hoping Neuralink, Elon would come step in and, maybe think about acquiring the technology, but that's great. Thank you.
Okay.
So my question is, I now work with a women's health nonprofit, and we do work in the U.S. and globally. The global work is funded by royalties from the sale of our contraceptive, or IUD, in the U.S. And a lot of what we look at is access. I work with some of the companies that come out of Impact One at Stanford Biodesign as well, and they're pitching in the women's health, maternal health, and pediatric markets. And they're often being told that that's a niche market by some of the VCs here on Sand Road and other places. What are your thoughts on that, and do you think we'll see a shift at some point?
Well, I can give you my perspective, but I think they're more qualified. I think that this is a huge market, and it's going to keep on growing. And I think the importance of women's health is going to become more and more pervasive as the politicization of this issue becomes a bigger deal in states. So I think it's a huge market. It will keep on growing. But anybody want to take this? Sanjeet? Jordan?
I think as a sector, women's health is on an upswing from an investment standpoint. And what we see is a greater understanding from the VC community in terms of where the issues are and where there is actually a broad market for each of the issues, right? So you can here we have heard conversations where VCs have started to prioritize, okay, these are the 3 subsectors I want to go after first. So which is a good sign, right? So then following that, you will see more dollars flowing into these sectors. There are several companies around period tracking. Some very successful data-oriented companies. I'm actually amazed at the kind of data they have collected over the years. But that's, I think, just the start, honestly speaking. But I think getting into more issues within the women's health sector, you're going to see more and more dollars flowing in from VCs.
Yeah, if you step away from the word women and call it X health and look at that market, half the population is in X. There is an increased economical power in the hands of this X. They're working more, they own more spending. The age of this X and the working portion of the X is growing worldwide. The drug discoveries, the knowledge, the information, it's all growing in the right direction. So if you look at X, whether it's women, men, space, all the market indicators say grow, grow, baby, grow. Now you slap women on top of it, and then it becomes like, oh, wait a minute. There's nothing spectacularly right or wrong about women's health other than it's growing at such a rapid pace. It'd be stupid not to invest. Besides the woke factor, besides the right thing to do. So the women's health thing is probably one of the biggest, largest, most significant market to invest in, and it has so many different verticals that VCs will be foolish not to engage.
And by the way, Joanna Strober, right? She has a company. Did she get it venture backed? Do you know?
She just got a series, was it Series B, I think, for MIDI Health, you mean?
Somebody came in and they.
Yeah, they just, I'm not sure if it was an add-on to their Series A, but they did.
But yeah, so Joanna Strober was a venture capitalist with Bessemer Ventures in the Y2K era, and she left, and she wrote a book with 7 other venture capital women, which was quite interesting. Do you know the name of the book? No? You should look her up, Joanna Strober, S-T-R-O-B-E-R, and she wrote a book with 7 other venture capitalist women that is quite brilliant. You know, it's the different snippets of each one of these women and their journey in the venture capital world in the Y2K era. So it's a generation before us, right? Which was a tough generation for them, frankly. They were the trailblazer, you know. I mean, Mary Meeker may have been the only one that really became a named person and now has her own fund, a relatively large fund that should be successful. And she left Bessemer, and for years I think she was kind of doing other things, and then she started a women's health company, which was quite broad. It was not a focused kind of a thing. It was on all aspects of women's health, but I'm glad to hear that you're involved in it and in this space.
If I can add, Armand, one of the things that annoy me personally is most women health startups are run by women. And it's highly annoying. It's highly annoying, not because women relate, so they drive it. Why aren't the men also driving this? You know, you don't take this the wrong way. If you understand it personally, you're going to be a better domain expert. But you don't have to be a woman to drive a woman health solution. And it's puzzling. So if you're a male or a female and you want to find a place to go to, the women's health sector is a very booming, thriving sector, regardless of what your gender is. So go at it.
Shin, we were talking about women's health sector.
I've heard that.
Yeah, so you're back. Do you have we were just talking about various aspects of it, you know.
Yeah, actually, that's a fascinating topic. I just take over because one of the panelists who didn't show up is Winston Cho from LG. And we were just talking about it the other day that...
From LG, the Korean company.
Yeah, that's right. If I may, I don't think he will mind, but I probably can make an ad for him.
Yep.
That he's actually looking for femtech, like women's health, because they're doing like a whole digital health solution platform. It's amazing platform, and he's looking for like solutions for digital health. Personally, I'm looking at the whole IVF space because of the aging demographics, and including IVM, like in vitro in vitro maturation. What does that mean? It's like instead of stimulating the eggs in woman's body, you take them out earlier and then you culture them, not in the body but outside of the body as a cell therapy track. That is biotech track. But the IVF, there are multiple solutions, including fintech payment. It's still very expensive. It's not affordable to everyone. It's not accessible to all the women. And we're all like, not we're all, but not we, but many people are like pursuing their career and delaying having babies. And that's why the aging problem, the coming from. So yes, there's a lot of things I'm passionate about in women's health. And you should reach out to Wisdom from LG if you're interested in the space as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Go ahead. Are you have a question?
Yes.
Yes, please come closer.
Hello, I'm a founder of Birth to Death, and oh no, I'm not gonna pitch. We are made time management augmented reality application for ADHD. Yes.
Okay.
So I just wanna hear about your opinion about personal digital agent. Have you heard about that or not?
One more time, because I didn't quite follow. So on the ADHD, right? That's what the company is focused on. And what is your question?
Personal digital agent by large language models.
Right. Do you guys know any? I don't know anything about it. Personal, go ahead. Sanjit.
I do believe that the big change driven by LLMs, and this is beyond healthcare, I'm talking at a generic level, the big change driven by LLMs will be in the creation of AI agents. So maybe if that's what you are alluding toward, personal digital agents. So you can apply them towards your personal health, you can apply them towards personal finance. Microsoft has rolled out some products called Copilot, but I think those are step one products, in my humble opinion. What will happen is today, if you go to apps, Facebook app or Wells Fargo app or your child's school app, etc., instead of you going to the apps, you'll just talk to the agent. Hey, Agent Joe, did you look at my bank account? If there is more than $2,000 in the account, can you make the payment for this class for my child, or go buy this? So go across apps. I think we are going to enter an era where you as a consumer will interact with agents, digital agents, not with the apps. Your interaction with the apps will go down. So that means clicks go down, likes, comments, all of those things go down as well. So I do believe that digital agents are going to explode. In fact, there are companies creating agent operating systems already. Agent OS. Now, how do you manage the agents? So the apps layer will get abstracted out. There will be an agents layer that users will interact with more. So I do believe that will happen, and maybe more in personal finance or personal task management first before getting into healthcare.
Great. Thank you. All right. One more question, please. Come on in. Hello.
Hi, my name is Digvijay Singh, and I work
You
as
can raise the microphone so you're more comfortable speaking. There you go.
I work as the Chief Technology Officer for a startup. My question is.
He's gonna say no pitching in a minute.
No. I'm not telling you. Yeah. So my question is not related to my startup at all.
I know. We're having a good time here.
So we are racing. We all are. All the like large language model companies are racing towards AGI, and I keep hearing a dystopian opinion that we're going to develop AGI. It's going to biohack our bodies and kill us all. What do you think about that?
What do you think? Ella, what do you think? She's going to defer to other people. So go ahead, Jessica. Or Shin, we haven't heard from you.
I don't know whether it'll kill. Who knows what will happen. I do believe. I do believe that AGI, artificial general intelligence, will take over mediocre performers. If you are good at whatever field you are in, whether it is programming or whether it is designing drugs or whether it is law, if you are good in each of those fields, in your respective fields, you will not be replaced. You will be needed more. But the mediocre performers in each of those fields, they'll be gone. Because AI can do that much better than the mediocre performers.
Why will it stop at the mediocre performance?
No, but then you keep going up as well, right? So it's like a spiral going up. I feel that's our model. We'll see. It's a race between human and the bot over time. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I do believe that if you are really good at what you do, your job is here to stay.
Thank you, everybody. What a great way to finish this evening. It's thanks to all of you, the panelists. Thanks to the audience. Thanks to Rob.
Well, let's give it up for the panel once again. Let's give it up for Armin, our awesome moderator. Let's hear it for Perkins Coie
Yes.
sponsoring. Let's hear it for our event team and our video team.
Yes.
Let's hear it for Joe, our bouncer. Let's hear it for our audience. Let's hear it for me.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, you can stick around, network, socialize, connect, talk to our panel, but we must leave the building at 9 p.m. sharp. There is an after party. Here are the possibilities. The Rosewood, the patio, or Pizza My Heart. And the winner is, drum roll, it's Pizza My Heart. So I'll see you at the after party. Thanks for coming. Applause.